Well, you know that if you counter the anti-Chinese propaganda, if you come out in the media and say, come on, folks, enough of this anti-Chinese propaganda, you won't get this job. You'll be out of a job once you're no longer a minister. Maybe you will lose your ministership or your ministry. I've noticed in the last 2 years the intensification of anti-Chinese propaganda in our media. Just ludicrous stories. Stories that you don't need to know what's going on, just to read them or listen to them, to know that they have come out of a production line of propaganda. And that propaganda is simply functional to Washington's intensification of the new Cold War against China. So I think China has a much better image amongst people generally than amongst governments, which actually don't even believe their propaganda, but they have to toe the line. Allow me to put it very bluntly. If you're a politician who wants a good job for yourself, right? Let's say you're the minister of something in Europe, in Italy, in Greece, right? And you know that your career as a minister is not going to last more than 5, 6, 7, at most 10 years. And you are a career politician, and then you want to move up. You want to go to Brussels to be given a cushy job, some kind of directorate of the European Union, some ambassadorship of the European Union, maybe become a commissioner in the European Union, maybe get a job in Luxembourg at the European Investment Bank. Well, you know that if you counter the anti-Chinese propaganda, if you come out in the media and say, come on, folks, enough of this anti-Chinese propaganda, you won't get this job. You'll be out of a job once you're no longer a minister. Maybe you will lose your ministership or your ministry, right? So people here in China must understand that it's not so much that propaganda works at convincing people that China is the big bad wolf. It doesn't work that way. You simply need to know that if you speak out against the propaganda, even if you don't believe the propaganda, your career is going to be jeopardized. There's a fundamental difference between what people think and what governments do. Ordinary people, I think across Europe, have a high regard for the Chinese people. They can see clearly that the Chinese people, whatever problems China may have, pulled themselves up from the bootstraps in the last 30 years, went from a situation where China was a third world country, a very impoverished country, to a country that is now at the forefront of technology, of social cohesion. They have a high regard for China. Maybe they're a bit envious because Europe is going in the other opposite direction. So this is where we've come to. These days, propaganda doesn't even need to convince people. It just needs to scare them off acting on what they know.
偷偷告诉大家，我最近发现了新法宝 Royal Face 逆时奇迹系列，它有活肤露、全效精华，还有精华霜。尤其我皮肤比较偏干，所以我非常的注重保湿。保湿做得好，肌肤自然烹润。提亮肤色更年轻，抚平皱纹超有感，而且气色变好。用心保养，每天都更美一点。美吧！